Welcome to these Sci-Fi guys. I am your host Dave, and with me this week, as always, is Chad and John. Today we are talking about the movie Battle for Terra. Actually, is this one of the few ones that we've done that's been PG? Not been PG-13 or R, but this is one of the
Probably.
few
Probably.
that's been completely PG. Uh, anyway, hey, so what'd y'all think? Just give me a quick overview. Not getting into any of the stuff that we're going to do, plot holes or anything like that. So, what'd y'all think?
It's a
I was
good
like,
movie.
2 words from me. Surprisingly good
Yeah.
for what it was. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it had a star-studded cast. You
hmm
know, it had Luke Wilson, it had Danny Trujillo, it had Dennis Quaid, Ron Pierman, Justin Long, Mark Hamill, James
Chris
Garner,
Evans.
Chris Evans. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. You know, and most of
Mhm.
those were side characters. You know, other than Luke Wilson, he was he was one of the main characters. But yeah, extremely. I thought it was a very enjoyable movie. You know, that's why I
Mhm.
picked it. So okay, yeah. So let's start out with our questions. All right, our questions this week are coming from me. Um, and I hope y'all are ready on this. I can tell Chad's definitely ready.
I had a,
All right, so okay, first question is, what did you guys think about the humans being the bad guys and not the aliens?
hmm. I love how the roles were reversed. It's like you gotta look at it. Every movie you watch with the aliens being the bad guy, they was all coming to take over the world, take our resources, do something to take the sting. So the roles reversed. We were doing it, and we made it look like he was the bad guy. Especially loved how the one of the character main the lieutenant like, I'm gonna fight for the other side now. Benedict Arnold.
Yeah, John, what'd you think?
Like Chad said, I like the role reversal. I mean, it's not obviously a spin put on the whole alien invasion thing, especially with humans being the invaders. I like the idea a lot. I like the story they set up with us. I like too that really, I mean, it comes down to one main guy being the ultimate villain, not necessarily all the leftover humans. But also, I like the idea that the humans necessarily bad as they could have per se, in terms of they were just looking for a new home. Now, the way they went about it, horrible, but like that's humans. I feel like that. I feel like overall, it was very accurate to what humans would do in that situation. That's the way I'll put it.
Okay, well, since you kind of went there, I'm going to ask that next question. If our world was in a similar situation, would we as a species make the same choices? In other words, would we go in, you know, kick butt, take names, and then just say, hey, we're going to terraform this place because we've only got a month to live? What do y'all think?
I mean, I definitely can see where we follow the same route. Because to me, with the way humans are, it's either the route that this movie takes or it's just complete abandonment of hope. Like it's one or the other. Either we're going to fight until we're gone, which is kind of what happened here, or we just give up and call it a day. I don't think there's much of an in between that I would see happening, but I could definitely see this one happening. Now, the terraforming specifically, I mean, you get into a lot of what ifs in terms of tech, but if we're assuming same exact position, I definitely see us doing this.
Yeah, I would love to see a middle ground. I actually would love to see the ending. Them working at the ending through this movie is how you don't have to tear out my planet. Let's do this. We share. But no, I can see us going in, asking questions later.
Yeah. I'm with both of you guys on the same thing. You know, I mean, I think as a species, we are going to say, hey, we're the dominant. We have the technology. We have this. We would be pretty much like the general was and say, we're going to go ahead and take it. And, you know, sorry, it's ours now, you know, kind of the mentality. All right. Okay, next question. What could Earthlings have done to prevent the battle? Is this movie made to be a cautionary tale? I kind of put two of them in one. So what could have been done differently? Which, of course, we're going to get into fixing and improving most likely.
Yeah, this is
But I don't know. So, but as human beings, so put yourselves in their shoes. All right. We coming up to this planet. What could you do differently besides being like the general and saying, you know what, we're going to take over a military and we're going to lock up everyone and we're just going to take over the planet? What could we have
I was
done
gonna say, if
different?
we're bringing up the general, then I think the best thing overall is choose better leadership on the front end,
yeah.
especially if we're down to one final ship. Either choose a council that's going to stand up to the general better, or choose a better general in terms of leadership with someone who understands that, like, maybe going full send in forceful manner maybe not be the best option, because if you lose the battle, you're kind of done overall. And especially when there were other options, they would have led with that in some way. So I think overall, better leadership would probably have aided a lot of that.
Okay, I agree with that, John. Yeah, I'll take the general out. I would, if you had a general council, I wouldn't have. We already seen it. You got a council that's weak, and you got a general that's headstrong. And I know what I'm doing. That general's always going to take over.
Yeah,
You need a headstrong council. Somebody to at least somebody on that council said, no, you agreed. We're not doing this without us going and voting on it or talking it over as we need to, and
right,
have and keep the general. But if you had somebody the same personality on the council, I don't think this would have happened as it did, as it played out. It would have been more diplomatic, or you saw the general doing more bad stuff than you would have saw. It would probably made this movie from PG to PG-13.
probably, yeah. And I agree with both of you guys. I got a couple things else that I'm going to ask that's kind of tell the way I think that they could fix it. Um, but let me just start with this. All right, this is not a question I ask you guys. I'm just it's kind of on the fly. Can one person make a difference, whether it be good or bad? Can one person make a difference? You can do it, Michael. One man can make a difference. It's from Knight Rider, guys. Come on.
Yeah, I know where it's from. I'm just
But seriously, in this circumstance, all right, let's just look at the general. The general is one man. Did he make a difference on what happened? Good or
yeah,
bad?
Of course.
of course. Anybody can make a difference.
Yeah.
Look at it. Like I said, you get on further in this movie. One lieutenant made a difference. I'm going to change. I'm going to fix this.
Yeah.
I should put my foot down.
Well, and not only that, I think about the time when the general call had all the troops come in there and arrest the council. Why didn't one of the troops say, "No, you know what, this isn't right. We don't need to be doing this." You know what I'm saying? Just one of them could have said to the others, "Hey guys, we don't need to do this. This is not right."
Well, he did, but the one person,
But he was in a ship away from it.
yeah,
I'm saying
he
somebody
wasn't there.
actually there who was right there in the council chamber.
Too
Somebody
scared.
else there.
They were too scared, and thought the general was the right way to go.
Yeah. Well, and unfortunately, when you get a charismatic leader, a lot of times that's what happens is you think, oh, he's right. Okay. Because he's just so charismatic. He knows what he's talking about. All right. We gotta follow this, but that's not always the right thing to do.
No,
You know? Uh, so, okay. My next question. Um, Okay, the movie asks a question: are we so different from other species? We as human beings, are we so different than other species that? And just think about other movies that we've seen. Kind of let's go on it from that angle.
yeah, we're different. We're seeing every alien movie, every movie we've seen that was fighting against. Yeah, we're different. there's different species out there, different things. We never know what's out there, and if you, even the movies that's coming up, and we look at it, we're always either the dominant ones or we're the prey.
I mean, yeah,
But
I think overall, this movie definitely shows us, if we look at humans and what we often think about humans, we're not all that different from other species who go to an alien planet. If we're looking at that picture from whole, because to come in and start blasting, I mean, that's pretty much what every alien species has done in the movies we've watched. But also, I think as a whole, I think if you get down to the very nature of survival, it's fight or flight, and we're pretty darn good at fighting. So I think that doesn't make us too terribly different from a lot of the other species we've seen in these films.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, I can see from both sides of you. I kind of disagree with Chad a little bit. I kind of agree more with you, John. Is that I think this movie definitely showed us how bad we can be and how much like, all right, just look at our movie we did last week with Alien, Independence Day, Resurgence. You know, the aliens were coming back after 20 years, you know, because they wanted our planet. Um, you know, what is making humans different than that? We're doing the same thing. We're going to another planet and saying, you know what? We need your natural resources because we destroyed ours. We need someplace that'll let us breathe. So we're going to terraform your place. It's kind of the same thing, you know? It's kind of the same thing. All right. Where am I at? Okay. Next up, I got too many buttons here to go with. Plot holes. Did you guys see any blatant plot holes? Anything out there that that makes you just want to say,
"Oh, for crying out loud! Oh, for crying out loud! Oh, for crying out loud!"
I mean, was there anything obvious? You know, I mean, I had to dig on some of these. I didn't think it was too bad. I only have a couple. But did you guys see anything?
did they ever go over why they couldn't go to that one spot? Beginning of the movie, the two, I don't forget the names. They're flying, and the one looks like a cement statue, and
Oh, why
nothing.
they couldn't go in there? Because that's where the religious leaders had all of their tech was in that area. When they came up out of it, when you saw them flying up out of it, they were out in the middle of all that. So yeah, the religious leaders actually took that area and, you know, I think I remember the line in there saying, well, you can't do anything unless the religious leaders tell you can do it, which I'm like, I'm not sure about that. Yeah. But I mean, there was a reason for it, but at the same time, is, you know, I guess they were planning. They knew at some point war was going to happen again because it had, you know, it had happened before. But you know, to give up peace and all the time that they had, and all that. So, John, did you see any plot holes?
Nothing major. There were a few I had while watching it that were very minor that I can't really remember now. Most of it had to do with the fact of how the humans got there in the first place. Because they blew up 3 planets that they were fighting over. It just seems kind of difficult to believe that that was the only one close enough, you know? Because it
Yeah.
seemed really far in space for it to be the only one close enough.
Well, considering
So
also how old
that's my
she was.
major.
Yeah. Well, here's what I got.
So I'm like, that's kind of iffy.
Here's kind of what I got here. I said, okay, so humans were investigating the Terran species and learning their language to a point where a shipboard robot, that was Giddy, is programmed to speak and understand their speech. Yet the humans understood their speech, but did not initiate any kind of first contact. It was just, let's go abduct them. And why? I mean, why? If you're going to abduct them to try to learn their speech, it should be to contact them and talk. They never did that.
No. Yeah, that's what I thought when I saw like they get like they come in and taking them, trying to learn something. Why don't they just moment of truth parlay?
Yeah, exactly. Next one is okay. So again, John, I think you said the same one. If they've got a terraformer and they've terraformed Mars and Venus, two uninhabited planets, then why did they have to terraform a planet that was inhabited? You know, I mean, yes, they had enough for a month, but they could have gone the next planet down or something, or I don't know. You know, that was just kind of a gray area.
Uh,
And then the biggest one, there is one big one. There is a big one. You have a planet. A planet. We have no idea how large this planet or how small it is. Why are you putting the terraformer right next to the alien village? You could have been 100 miles away. And by the time the terraformer would have been finished, then all the Terrans would have been gone. But is it a plot convenience or a plot hole? It's a plot hole. Definitely, it's a plot hole, in my opinion.
Indeed.
Yeah, plot hole. Okay, let's go to our next segment. What would you guys do to either fix this movie, which doesn't sound like there's too much to be fixed on, other than there was only minor plot holes, or what would you do to improve this movie?
mm.
So let's start with you, John. What would
I
you
mean,
do?
my biggest fix mostly would be animation style, and probably truthfully just upping the quality as a whole on the film, because the story is definitely there, and I think the animation didn't take away from it because the story was good enough to draw you in. But I definitely think that could have made it even better. Um, I would
Now
have
this,
changed the.
go ahead. I was
Uh,
just gonna
I
tell
may
everyone
have.
this was not a Pixar movie. This was not a Dream, or this was a DreamWorks.
Nope.
No, not even a DreamWorks. This was a Lionsgate, where they were just starting and trying to figure out this whole computer animated stuff. That's why the graphics are not very good compared to Pixar, compared to Dream
Yeah.
DreamWorks. Is it DreamWorks
Yeah.
or Dreams?
DreamWorks.
Yeah, DreamWorks. So
Yeah.
yeah, I totally agree with you on that. You know, that's why you notice everyone looked the same. Everybody's was wearing a hat, or they all were bald, and then they put the little
Yep.
pacifier thing over his mouth so you couldn't see his lips moving half the time, because that way they could get away with, oh, we can't animate mouths very well, you know.
Yep. Yep. Other than that, I would probably fix the human ships, like the actual battleships. And I only say that because they took up a lot of space for no reason whatsoever. You just had these huge four axes that are just shooting off into nowhere, which, I mean, the landing system honestly was pretty cool
That
when we
was
saw
cool,
that
except
first
for,
happen and it kind of slots in.
well, all right, so it slots in, and then all right, so your ship is facing this way, the front of it's here, right? So they go in, and then it showed it as it rotated around, right? And then you come out this way, you're upside down. You're upside
Yep.
down. I mean, if it just rotated around, it never showed it rotating and then rotating this way. You know, I was just like, okay, yeah, that was one of my pet peeves. Is like, okay, that's a cool aspect, but then show it rotating the seats this way while you're in the ship.
Yep.
You know? So,
So those
Chad,
are
did
my
you
major two. Outside of that, there's not a whole lot. Yep.
Chad, did you see anything?
I'm about the same with John. I mean, I know it's not Pixar, DreamWorks, Disney, or whoever has the best out there. Yeah, just a little bit more animation, more. The story's great. I mean, like I said, if it was me, I would have showed more diplomatic up front before the general went in. But other than that,
Yeah, I kind of wish they would have done um, just a little bit more of the backstory. on what happened with Mars and Venus and the war, kind of showed maybe a little bit more of that instead of just saying, well, there was a war between the 3 planets and they all destroyed themselves. Kind of give us that, or give us something on how long the ship has been going through space
Yeah.
and why it's falling apart. Okay, it's we've been through meteor storms, we've been through this, we've encountered hostile aliens, we've done this, whatever, just kind of give us a little bit more. I know that's not what the story was about. The story was about Earth invading another planet, and then but I think the ending was great where Luke Wilson, I can't think of Staten, Lieutenant Staten,
Yeah.
whatever.
Whatever.
Yeah, one of them. I mean, they all look the same.
Same.
I mean, I was like, was that Chris Evans? No, okay, he was another Staten. He was his brother, I guess. And I mean, I even liked some of the parts where they had, the general telling them, are you on our side or are you on their side? I mean, that happens really. There's a lot of times where, you get into war or whatever, and then those lines become gray rather than black and white.
You feel sympathetic.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's just human, really. You train to do something, or you do your belief in this, but then you get in the midst of it, and like, hold up, you start seeing your eyes are open. So yeah, I would like to. I'm not kind of backstory a little bit, but other than that,
yeah, I like those. I think we fixed the movie or improved it. Okay, our next segment is going to. Okay, we are going to rate this on a scale of 0 to 5 lightsabers. 0 means we didn't really like it very much, or 5 means it was fantastic, awesome, loved it. So, starting with you, Chad, 0 to 5 lightsabers. What do you give Battle for Terra?
I'll say about 4. Point off of the animation.
Okay, 4 it is. John, how about you?
I mean, hey, spot on, same exact reason. It's a solid story. They did really well with what they had, and it's enough that like I overlooked the animation just because the story was good. And so yeah, solid 4. Only reason is it's not really a blockbuster quality, but man, the story was still solid. So I'm at a 4.
Yeah, and actually, it's funny. We're all the same. I picked a 4 also. I was teetering on 4.5, but I ultimately went with 4. Just like you guys said, the animation was there, but I thought they missed out on some opportunities with some growth with people to understand why the general is so mad. And I think with a better backstory to see him why he's the way he was. Rather than just, well, we got a month left, and it's either us or them, without even talking to them to, especially after they figured out, hey, she built this small scale thing to be able to let him to breathe. Can we do that in a bigger scale? If they would have just talked about it, they could have figured that out. So, yeah, 4 lightsabers is the same for me. All right, everyone. This is the point where we ask you to contact us. Yes, we are on YouTube. That's the best way. Just do some comments down below. We are now on Facebook, Instagram, and X. All of them are at TheseSciFiGuys. That's the easiest way to find them. Just type that in at TheseSciFiGuys, and then email us if you want to. It's TheseSciFiGuys@gmail.com. So, everyone, that's it for the show. Right? Is that it?
What are we watching next?
Oh, thank you, Chad. I knew we were. No, I'm kidding. I knew what we were doing, but I wanted to get set. All right, Chad. What we're doing next is Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I forget. Don't panic. That's what it says on the picture.
Yeah.
I have not. I don't think I've ever seen this movie. I honestly don't think I have. So I'm looking forward to seeing it. To who picked this one? Was it you, John, or Chad? John
John.
did.
Yeah,
John
I did.
Yeah,
It's
you probably pick all the Doctor Who stuff too.
It's a book too.
I know it's a book.
Yeah, it
series,
is a book.
but I'm definitely looking forward to this. Seeing how we're going to do this, because I've never seen this movie. Chad, have you seen this?
I've seen it.
Okay. Well, then you guys will have to be asking me the questions. 'Cause, you know. And with that being said, everyone,
Crash and
crash
burn.
and burn.
Crash and burn.